Welcome to the Venus frequency, a Venus butterfly transmission. I'm so glad you're here. In this frequency, we choose clarity over confusion, presence over performance, and alignment over effort. We listen, we soften, we shift the frequency.
Soft as a spell, I bloom, I breathe. Butterfly energy, I don't chase, I receive. Venus frequency.
Metamorphs, vibe with me on this because today I have 3 very important questions for you as we enter into the 9th transmission of what Venus taught us during her transit in Taurus. And listen, my lovelies, please hear me clearly because this one is for everybody who says they want to receive more love, money, ease, support, softness, care, and more provision. But when all these things you say that you want comes around, now you want to get real suspicious. And all of a sudden, it's side-eye central up in this piece. So lean in, my loves, because this frequency is going to meet the part of you that wants to receive, but does not always feel safe enough to let it land. Fasten your seatbelts, because question number 1 is, have you ever asked for support but felt uncomfortable, guilty, suspicious, or exposed when it actually showed up? If that one gave you a little whiplash, don't you panic now, because question number 2 is about to explain why receiving has felt like a whole assignment at times. Question number 2, have you been so used to surviving, overgiving, earning, proving, or doing it all yourself that receiving feels unfamiliar or even unsafe? Think about that one right now. Because if that hit a nerve, I want you to come here a little closer. Because question number 3 is about to meet the part of you that keeps choosing struggle simply because it's familiar. So finally, question number 3 is, are you ready to stop rejecting ease just because struggle has been more familiar and allow love, help, and care to arrive without turning them into a test? Now, if you answer yes, party people, then you just might be ready for this frequency of receiving requires safety. Because metamorphs, receiving is not just about wanting more. Receiving is about feeling safe enough to let more in. So sit back and let me holler at you for a second or 2, maybe even 3, because I wanted you to get this. Receiving requires safety. I'm going to say that again. Receiving requires safety. And I know we all love to talk about receiving, and we all imagine ourselves receiving more love, receiving money, receiving abundance, receiving support, softness, attention, care, and receiving the thing that we have been praying for, working for, longing for, and calling into our lives. But baby, let's tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, because sometimes receiving sounds good until it actually requires us to relax and trust. Sometimes receiving sounds fantastic until it asks us to stop trying to control every outcome. Receiving sounds good until support arrives and the body doesn't know how to relax into it. Receiving sounds good until someone offers consistency and our nervous system starts looking for the catch. Receiving sounds awesome sauce, until money comes in and that old stinking thinking, that old scarcity story starts asking, but what if it disappears? Sometimes receiving sounds good until love feels steady and your nervous system starts scanning for danger that ain't even there. And that, my friends, is why this transmission matters. Because receiving is not only a manifestation issue. Nope. My loves, receiving is also a safety and a body issue. You didn't know that, did you? Well, I'm here to tell you, because receiving is also a bank issue, a boundary issue, and it absolutely and positively is a bond issue. Now, I hear somebody out there yelling, why is that, Venus? Well, I'm about to tell you. You know I'm about to tell you. It becomes an issue because the body has to feel safe. The body has to feel safe enough to soften. And our bank has to feel safe enough to be tended. The boundary has to feel safe enough to stay clear. And the bond has to feel safe enough for care to actually enter without you bracing for impact. Let that sink in. Because when being in survival mode has been your normal, ease can feel quite suspicious. You feel me? When you have had to earn everything and also do everything, support at times can feel like a setup. And we find ourselves in situations where love comes to us with inconsistency so often that receiving steady affection can feel unfamiliar. And then that's when we find that hard to trust. When we become so accustomed to associating money with stress, more money can actually activate fear. Because when softness has not been protected, being cared for can make us feel exposed, naked even. And that, my love, does not mean that you are ungrateful. It does not mean you are blocking your blessings on purpose. It doesn't mean you are difficult, broken, or incapable of receiving. All it means is that your nervous system may still be learning that care can arrive without costing you your dignity. Your nervous system, I'm going to say this again, may still be learning that care can arrive without costing you your dignity. And Venus in Taurus understands this oh so well. Venus not coming in here and saying, girl, why can't you just receive? No, she wouldn't do you like that. But what she is saying is, baby, let's make receiving feel safe enough to stay. Because sometimes we do not reject good things because we do not want them. Sometimes we reject them because our body does not yet trust that they will not become another place where we will have to perform, prove, owe, shrink, or disappear. Sometimes we push away support because needing has not felt safe. We minimize compliments because being seen has not felt safe. We overgive immediately after receiving because someone cared makes us feel indebted. Sometimes we turn softness into suspicion because ease has not been consistent enough to trust. Sometimes we rush to earn what was freely offered because we do not know how to just let love be. And baby, that is the wound trying to manage the gift. But in this season, we are not letting the wound reject what spirit has been praying for. Not in our body, not in our bank, not in our boundary, and not in our bond. Because worth must become behavior. The body keeps the standard, pleasure is the practice, rest is a receipt, beauty is not frivolous, the bank needs boundaries, stability is sacred, and receiving requires safety. So the question becomes, what would it take to make receiving feel safer in my body? And actually, there are several questions we can ask ourselves. And we'll start with, do I need to slow down? Do I need to breathe before I respond? Do I need to stop over-explaining my gratitude? Do I need to let someone help without immediately trying to repay them? Do I need to practice saying thank you without shrinking? Do I need to stop calling support suspicious just because struggle feels familiar? Do I need to allow good things to be good without cross-examining them into exhaustion? Whatever it takes. Because receiving is a practice, and sometimes practice is small. It can be letting that compliment land. It is accepting the help sometimes. It is not arguing with the discount, the gift, the opportunity, or the open door. It is allowing the money to come without immediately panicking about how it might leave. It is about letting someone show up for you without turning that into a test. It is allowing peaceful connection to be peaceful without trying to manufacture a problem all the dang on time. It is eating that meal that someone made for you without feeling guilt that you didn't make it for yourself. It is about allowing someone's or it is about allowing yourself to rest in someone's care without asking, what do I owe them now? Yeah, that is receiving, not just taking, not just having, not just accumulating, but receiving, letting the body register. I am being met. I am being supported. I am being nourished. I am being allowed to have this, or I am allowed to have this. I am allowed to keep this. I am allowed to let this be good. And baby, honey, that can feel tender. Because for some of us, receiving access to grieve, the places where we had to do everything alone. That one hit me, so I'm going to say that one again. Because for some of us, receiving access to grieve the places where we had to do everything alone. It asks us to grieve the version of us who became hyper independent because depending on others did not feel safe. It asks us to grieve the little girl, the young woman, the exhausted adult who learned to say, I got it. I got it. Because she did not trust anyone else to hold it with care. And let me tell you something. That version of you deserves compassion. She deserves compassion because she got you here. She learned how to survive. She learned how to make a way. She learned how to carry what should have been shared. She learned how to keep it moving. But a butterfly does not question her wings just because ease feels unfamiliar. No, she flies. Not because she doubts her wings, but because she has outgrown the version of herself that did not know how to use them. And some of us have outgrown the belief that being supported makes us weak. We have outgrown the belief that ease always has a catch. We have outgrown the belief that love must be earned through labor. We have outgrown the belief that receiving makes us indebted. We have outgrown the belief that struggle is the only pace our nervous system understands. We can go ahead and let those beliefs go, please and thank you. Because you are allowed to receive. You are allowed to be helped. You are allowed to be supported. You are allowed to be cared for. You are allowed to be nourished. You are allowed to let good things come in without trying to turn every blessing into a burden. You are allowed to stop making struggle the price of worthiness. You are allowed to let ease become familiar. You are allowed to let ease become familiar. Now, I want you to hear me and understand me all the way. Because receiving does not mean abandoning discernment. It sure does not. Receiving does not mean every offer is aligned, every gift is safe. Receiving does not mean every person with open hands has clean intentions. And that, my party people, is why safety matters. It's why the body keeps the standard why the bank needs boundaries, why stability is sacred, because true receiving does not require you to ignore your body. True receiving does not require you to lower your standards. True receiving does not require you to silence your discernment. True deceivings. What are we doing here, people? True receiving lets you soften without disappearing, because that, my friends, is embodied value. And that is the kind of receiving that Venus and Taurus came in here to teach. Not receiving that cost you your peace, not receiving that makes you owe your body to someone else's ego, not receiving that comes with strings wrapped around your throat, but receiving that honors your worth, respects your rhythm, receiving that lets your nervous system exhale, receiving that says you do not have to chase this. You do not have to prove this. You definitely will not be performing for this. You are allowed to be met, because receiving requires safety. And safety is what allows the blessing to land. So here are today's B.Fly Metamorphosisms. Receiving requires safety. Let them meet you where they need to meet you. Receiving requires safety. I allow supports without suspicion. I allow care without guilt. I allow ease without bracing for the catch. I allow love without performing for it. I allow money without panicking over it. I allow help without shrinking beneath it. I release the belief I have to earn everything through struggle. I release the belief that makes me weak. I release the belief that support makes me weak. I release the belief that receiving makes me indebted. I release the need to overgive after being cared for. I let the compliment land. I let the help arrive. I let the gift be a gift. I let the open door be open. I let the good things be good without turning them into a test. My body is allowed to soften. My nervous system is allowed to exhale. My heart is allowed to be met. My hands are allowed to be open. I receive with discernment. I receive with dignity. I receive with self-respect. What is aligned does not require my self-abandonment. What is safe does not ask me to disappear. What is for me can meet me without taking me from myself. I trust myself. I choose myself. I allow myself to receive. And so it is. This metamorphism was inspired by the frequency of receiving requires safety. I hope this frequency found you not in pressure, but in permission, not in suspicion, but in softness, not in the belief that you have to earn every good thing through struggle, but in the sacred remembrance that your body is allowed to feel safe enough to receive. Because receiving is not just about wanting more. Receiving is about feeling safe enough to let more in. Today's tarot highlight is the Six of Pentacles. And we are not entering the Six of Pentacles as a card to explain. We are entering it as an archetype to embody. The Six of Pentacles asks us to look at the flow of giving and receiving. Where is the exchange balanced? Where are we overgiving because receiving feels vulnerable? Where are we taking less than what is offered because we are uncomfortable being supported? Where are we afraid that receiving means we will owe more than we can afford to give? The Six of Pentacles reminds us that healthy receiving does not humiliate us. It does not make us small. It does not turn support into control. It does not make care a debt we can never repay. Healthy receiving restores balance. It lets generosity move both ways. And it reminds us that reciprocity is love made visible. So today, the Six of Pentacles is asking us, where have you been more comfortable giving than receiving? Where does support feel unsafe, unfamiliar, or suspicious? And what would help your body trust that receiving can happen without self-abandonment? Breathe that in. Take a moment and let it settle where it needs to settle. If you want to go deeper into this work, I invite you to listen to Arcana 22 Initiations. It's available on most streaming platforms. And if you are feeling this frequency, please follow me, Venus B.Fly, or the Venus Butterfly Collective on your favorite social platforms for more transmissions, rituals, and metamorphosisms. And while you are there, please, please, please share, like, follow, and subscribe to stay tuned into this frequency. And next time, we will be entering the 10th transmission of what Venus taught us while transiting about in Taurus. And that is needs are information. Because your needs are not the threat, honey. The wrong fit is. So, all right, Metamorphs, thank you for listening. Please know that I see you, I feel you, and I sure do appreciate you. The temple is now closed. Let what resonated stay with you, because you already know what it is. You don't need to hold on to the rest. Stay present, stay aligned, stay grounded, and I'll meet you right back here in the frequency.